Hi, I'm Layla from Shut Up and Achieve, and today I'm going to show you how to use the Life Audit spreadsheet. The Life Audit will help you look at all of the aspects of your life and see how you're doing and what you can do better. So, let's get started. To get started, add your life aspects in the top row. I've added 5 here for the purpose of the demonstration. Relationships, school, work, health, and personal growth. Next, I'll add the date, so I can come back to this later and know when my life audit was conducted. Next, I'm going to give a score to each of my life aspects based on how I feel I'm doing now. Next, I'll type in why I gave myself that score. After you're done determining why you gave yourself that score, next you can answer the following questions, such as how can you improve? And what will your first step be to start improving? Make a plan and be specific. Once you're done answering the questions for all of your life aspects, you can come back 3 months later to your life audit and score how well you've done and what your progress has been. You give yourself a progress score and write down the date. Then you explain to yourself what did you do to boost your score. And then, again, you get to determine how can you improve. Once again, you can do this after 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. So each 3 months, you come back, see how you've done, and how you can improve. The next sheet in the life audit is the activity sheet. In this sheet, you determine what are the 5 top activities you spend your time on. To accurately fill out the sheet, I recommend using a time tracker. If you're not sure what time tracker to use or how to time track, check out the post I linked in the description box below. After you time tracked yourself for a few days, you'll discover what are the top 5 activities you spend your time on. Here I gave 5 examples of activities I spend time on. Next, you'll add your sleeping hours. How many hours do you sleep per night? Once you're done with that, you can move on to digging deeper into these activities. For example, what value do these activities contribute to your goals? Also, how much time do you spend doing these activities per day? This data will come from your time tracker. Determine what goal they help you achieve. How can you get more value from them? Once you're done contemplating on the activities that you now spend time on, think about what activities would you like to spend time on. Next, think about how much time do you want to spend on those activities. How many hours per day, for example. You also have the option to choose a time when you want to do these activities. For example, I want to study starting from 9 a.m. Now let's take a look at the charts. The first chart shows you how many of your waking hours are spent on a specific activity. For example, here I can see that 39% of my waking hours are spent working. The next chart shows you how much time you're spending on a specific task versus the value that task contributes to your life. Now that you've determined what activities you spend most of your time on, you can move on to the goals sheet. In the goals sheet, you get to determine your goals, what category they belong to, what their priority is in your life, your start and end date, how hard are you working on them, and why you gave yourself that rating. Of course, there's no use of reflecting on how you're doing if you're not going to improve. So in the next row, you can write down how you plan on improving. Next, you can write down the first 5 steps you need to take in order to achieve your goal. The next sheet that we'll take a look at is the tasks sheet. In the tasks sheet, you have the space to determine what tasks or activities you should be doing in each aspect of your life. For example, in the relationships aspect, you might want to spend more quality time with your family. Also perhaps do fun things. Then you can determine how many hours you want to spend on that activity per week. Once you've determined how many hours per week you want to spend on that activity, you'll then see how many hours per day you need to spend to meet that goal. At the top of the sheet, you'll see the ideal top 5 activities that you want to spend time on that you previously specified in the activity sheet here. You can see how many hours you wanted to spend on that activity, and also, if you've added a time, you can see what time you planned to do that activity. Once you've filled out your tasks, the target hours per week row will show you how many hours you have planned per week. You'll also be able to see how many hours you've planned per life aspect here. For example, I want to spend 25 hours per week working on building my relationships. The next sheet is a weekly routine sheet. In this sheet, you get to create your ideal weekly routine. This sheet will help you stay focused and guarantee that everything you want to do is on your schedule. How many times did you say that you wanted to do something but ended up not doing it because you couldn't find the time? In this weekly routine schedule, you have 2 columns for each day. The first column is the category, which is your life aspect. Here you'll have a drop-down menu that you can choose activities from. In the weekly score sheet, you'll get a score on how well you planned your weekly routine. Based on the data you put in the tasks sheet, you'll see a goal time. You said you wanted to spend 25 hours on your relationships per week. In the reality, you only planned half an hour in your weekly routine for relationships. Your score will show you that you need to spend 24.5 more hours to reach your goal. However, you had a goal of spending 13 hours on school, whereas in reality, you planned 17 hours, so you got a good score. On this sheet, we also have charts that show you how much time you spent on a certain life aspect according to what you scheduled in your weekly routine. There's also another chart that will show you how much time was spent on specific tasks. As I only included 2 tasks in my weekly routine for the purpose of this demonstration, we have 2 tasks here. In the charts sheet, we have 2 charts. The first chart is your score progress chart. This chart shows you how you've been improving in all of your life aspects. Here I can see that when I first did my life audit, I scored my relationships at an 8. For my first progress, it went up to a 9, and the following 2 times, my score was a 10. There's also a similar sheet for your goal score progress. This chart will show you how you've improved in your goals. And that concludes our life audit demo. If you want to use this life audit, then head over to shutupandachieve.com and get one today. The link is in the description box below. Also, if you like this spreadsheet and want to get updates on new spreadsheets I make, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.